You know what we are not here for, though, is Casey Anthony. And basically, much like Palpatine, Casey Anthony somehow returned. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Casey Anthony trial because it happened like over a decade ago. But it was about this young lady, this young mom. I think she was like 17 or 18 at the time. And she had a beautiful 2-year-old daughter who went missing. And she did not report that the daughter had gone missing for 31 days. And during that 31 days, she was out partying. She was living with her boyfriend, wasn't searching for her at all. It wasn't until her mom tracked her down because she had basically stolen their car and found out that her 2-year-old granddaughter was nowhere to be found. Ended up calling 911. An investigation ensued. There was a trial where she was basically arraigned for lying to the police, child endangerment, manslaughter, and first-degree murder because they ended up finding the remains of her child a couple blocks away from her family's house. And she went through a very public trial and was eventually found not guilty in the court of law. Now, in the court of public opinion, that was very different. However, 11 years later, she has come out and officially announced that she is going to be a legal advocate because she doesn't trust Donald Trump, and she wants to make sure that women and LGBTQIA plus individuals are protected. And so she went on TikTok and officially said that she is returning to make sure that what happened to her doesn't happen to other vulnerable individuals. And admittedly, she has been kind of dragged over the coals because of this, because everyone still believes that she killed her daughter. But it is kind of interesting with like the whole like influencer mentality. And Nancy Grace, who was very hard on her when the trial was actually going on, she came out and said that she believes that this is basically a cash grab, that Casey Anthony is still a psychopathic liar, still killed her child allegedly, and deserves all the ire that the internet can throw at her. So
my favorite comment was the one that said, Casey Anthony being a law advocate is like Jeffrey Dahmer opening a steakhouse.
Yeah, it's kind of odd.
What I really love is all the best people are always coming out against Trump, right? Like that's the beauty of it.
Yes.
You know, I don't understand Casey when it comes to all this kind of stuff, because she could be an absolute multi-millionaire if she would just get on OnlyFans and start
100%
doing the thing over there. But no, she has to go and do whatever this nonsense is, and she's just going to.
There are definitely all types of crazies out there that would pay $30 a month to see
absolutely.
Casey Anthony give legal advice topless. You know,
absolutely, 100%. Yeah, for sure, for sure.
I'm not saying I'm one of them, but I would certainly be interested.
If there was anybody out there that OnlyFans was made for, it's Casey Anthony, right? I mean, there's literally nothing else this bitch can do other than show her tits on.
She can shovel fries.
I guess she could go work at Burger King or McDonald's. That's true. That's true. But would you eat a burger that Casey Anthony?
She can take my order.
Not me. I don't want nothing to do with this chick. So,
well, Blaine, I want to throw this to you first and foremost, because basically Casey Anthony says, like, here's the definition of a legal advocate. Okay. A legal advocate is a non-attorney who provides support and assistance to individuals navigating the legal system, offering information, resources, and emotional support, but without representing them in court or giving legal advice. And according to Nancy Mace, Casey Anthony's saying, like, I've been a legal advocate since 2011, and Nancy Mace is like, bitch, that's when you went on trial for murder.
Yeah.
So like you're counting your murder trial experience as part of your legal advocacy.
Work experience, I guess.
Yeah. So what's your take? Yeah. Do you think that anyone's going to subscribe to the Substack and start asking Casey Anthony to advocate for them?
Well, so one thing she says in that video is that she's going to allow for a direct line of conversation to her. I don't think there's going to be a lot of people doing this, but I could absolutely see people doing this to simply troll the ever-loving shit out of this woman. Like, there is almost guaranteed that people are going to do that, and she's going to walk this back super quickly. And I saw somebody saying online, too, it's like, I like that one of the uniting things that has happened is that It doesn't matter what side of the political aisle you're on. Everybody's still against Casey Anthony. So her posting that TikTok video, she got absolutely freaking roasted. And this is not going to go well for her at all.
Yeah,
and I mean,
she's threatening to sue all those individuals who said shit about her, though. Which is
that's what I was just going to say. This is like, she's just setting this up so people could talk crap about her, and then she can lawyer up and sue them for defamation and get a payday out of it, and not have to worry about it anymore. But
she ain't going to get shit.
No, of course not. But I think that's probably what her game plan is. So,
well, Odin, part of her game plan here is, so for the past 11 years, she's been working as a assistant to the private investigator who worked on her case. He kind of took her under his wing as like her.
In other words, they fucking
surrogate father. No, they're not. It's not a romantic relationship. It was just he felt sorry for her. He believed that she was innocent because he investigated her case, and she's been living with like his family and working for him for like 11 years. A recent documentary just came out on the Peacock, where it was the first time Casey Anthony actually kind of like sat down and talked about the case and like what happened and things of that nature. And so like I think that was kind of like the prelude to like this new like career move of being a legal advocate. But I wanted to ask Odin because, forgiveness is kind of like a virtue. And she was found not guilty. And so the question becomes is like, if she didn't murder her daughter, obviously like it was like neglectful, but she claims that her father, who had been sexually abusing her for like her entire life, had so much control over her. And he kept telling her that, he had her kid and that she was safe, and she just believed him, and that was something that was introduced at trial, and it seemed to have an effect on the jurors. But do you think that there's ever like a path for someone like Casey Anthony to find forgiveness in the public eye?
I mean, well, everyone has an opportunity for forgiveness as far as, personal issues and sins and things of that nature. But when it comes to public perception, that's an entirely different matter. I think one of the big issues is that though the jury might have found her not guilty, people in the public did not get access to any, I guess, of the same information, or at least it has not really been brought up since. And that's kind of what the media does, right? Obviously, I think that when it comes to media reliance and respectability, it's already pretty dang low. However, I do think that it's like if there is so much to exonerate her, I feel like that would probably have been the better place for her to have gone in to, kind of make her case to the public if that's what she actually wants. I think that really, honestly, this just shows what kind of a narcissist she is, because she has to have attention. She has to have people paying attention to her. She has to have people that are coming to her for advice now, right? So I think that really, if anything, it shows us, okay, maybe you didn't actually commit this crime. However, you are still a narcissist. And I think that it's hard to have any sympathy for someone who is continuing to do something that in many ways I think is just downright despicable, because it's all about her.
Yeah. And Odin, what type of mother, like when their child goes missing, waits 31 days, and she didn't even call it in. The grandmother kind of forced her into that 911 call. Like,
horrible one.
Wouldn't you say like an average mother,
type.
like after maybe like 24 hours, would be calling the police and like asking people to help her find her kid?
Oh,
24 minutes.
absolutely. Like the fact that there was
mind.
even a day, like even just one day that had gone by. I mean, again, I would say hours is more respectable, but the fact that a day, let alone 31 days, I mean.
Well, and the excuse you just told us is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like if that is true, then why would you even have your daughter with that person? Because to me, it doesn't matter if she necessarily actually caused the act of killing her daughter. Her poor choices and irresponsibility facilitated it one way or another.
Yeah.
It was the path that she chose. That is why it happened. I don't give a shit about any of her fucking excuses at this point.
yeah.
Because to me, this whole thing and her attitude, and you guys are right, like she comes off as one of the most twisted, self-centered, sycophantic, fucking, like, what's the word I'm looking for? She definitely has borderline personality disorder. Or something like that. Sociopath. That's the one I was looking for. Thank you.
I look at it like this. I think every single person on this panel is a parent. Blaine, I don't know if you have kids yet or not, but
Oh yeah, yeah, I've got two.
Yeah, okay. So we're all parents, right? Even if we go out with our friends or our wives or whatever for an evening or a vacation, I knew where my kids were at all times of every day. Even if they were staying with the grandparents for the weekend,
I got my kids shipped,
I
bro.
still knew where those kids were.
I'm logging into my phone like, they're on
you know,
4th and Alameda. I'm going.
And if,
Elon
like
keeps
Brian
track of
said,
them for
if my
him.
kid's missing, if somebody that I know doesn't know where my kids are, for even if it's 45 minutes to an hour, we want to know where the fuck my kids are at, and the cops are going to get called here very soon. It's this 31 days thing blows my mind. You know, I'm just kind of reliving this. She should have been thrown in jail just for that. It's insane to me.
Also, Matt, I don't know if you remember, but she made up a fictional nanny that she had been dropping Casey off with in order to supposedly fool her parents into thinking that she wasn't working or something like that. I don't know. Like, her lies are so numerous, it's hard to keep them all.
These
all
are
straight.
People that should be mandatorily sterilized or something, so they're not allowed to procreate in the real world. It's wild to me. I can't even.
Well, it was also kind of interesting because the parentage of Casey has never been confirmed, because the guy that she was dating at the time that she had her daughter, she said that, oh, it's your baby, and then he got DNA tests done. It turns out it wasn't his baby. So she lied about that, and then like the other two prospective potential fathers both died in a car accident mysteriously. So and then like she later came out and said that Casey was a product of rape, because like somebody had raped her at a party or something like that. All very strange. But Brian, one of the other strange things is this quote from one of the jurors on her case, where basically this juror said, "She seems like a horrible person, but the prosecutors didn't give us enough evidence to convict. They gave us a lot of stuff to think of that she probably did something wrong, but not beyond reasonable doubt." And another juror said, "I wish we had had more evidence to put her away." And these are the people that basically, brought in the not guilty verdict. And that's caused people to say like, well, she was found not guilty, but that doesn't mean that she's innocent. So what's your take on Casey Anthony and her attempts at rehabilitating her image?
First off, that sounds like expert level jury selection. So, the defense really chose the right people, because had they not, and they felt that way the entire time, yet they chose to give her not guilty just because the evidence didn't prove enough, then that's expert level jury selection. So hands off for the defense. As far as Casey goes, Matt, Dutch is completely right. She should be doing OnlyFans. She's got the body for it. That's all she needs to do to make money. I know Odin doesn't like that. I'm sorry, Odin, but what else is she going to do? No one's signing up to this.
Go
weird
away. That's what
Substack.
she needs to do. She needs to go away.
She's got to make money somehow.
Get a job. Get a real job.
Welfare.
Yeah, I guess welfare. She can have more kids.
Yeah,
that might work.
Or how about she just gets a real job?
Yeah,
I think she's a little bit recognizable. It might be difficult. All I'm saying is, she is a monster, and I couldn't imagine waiting longer than a couple hours to not know where my kids are. When my wife and I went to Yosemite for our anniversary, we were gone for a few days. We knew where our kids were the entire time.
Yep.
They went with their aunt. They went to the mountains. They did a bunch of fun stuff for a few days while we were gone. We were not only aware of exactly where they were geographically, GPS, but we had communication with their aunt, with the people that were with them, and with them the entire time. Not an hour went by that I didn't know where my kids were. It's an insane concept for you to wait that long. I couldn't even imagine waiting a few hours. When my kids if my kids aren't where I think they are, then I start losing it. I literally go into panic mode when I don't know where my kids are. I left my 12-year-old home for an hour to go to the shop yesterday. I usually work from home, but I have a shop too. I have a studio. So I went down there to get some work done. 1 hour. Dude, that 1 hour, I was sweating. I'm like, this particular kid, she likes to cook stuff. I don't want her to get hurt. I'm like, I couldn't get a hold of her for a minute, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go back home. I abandoned my work, and I was like, I'll do it when my wife gets home because I got stressed out. Look, I know we live in a weird time where kids are very much babied by their parents. It may be because a lot of us like grew up as Generation Xers, where we were like basically latchkey kids, right? And like the news had to remind our parents that they had kids, and our only rule was to be inside before the streetlights turned off.
Yeah.
We would literally be kicked out of the house at like 7 a.m. with a granola bar and a tin cup for water. And they'd be like, "Good luck, bro."
Look, here's the thing. I was the same way, but they still knew what general area of the world I was in.
Yes,
and
that's
if
what
I disappeared, they could go find me in about 10 minutes.
Yes, at 9 o'clock, when the news reminded my parents that I was their son, they'd be like, "Where did that dude go?"
Look,
but at least she waited days. Oh, what?
That's why
you guys were also old enough to ride bikes.
Look, listen,
Right.
it's true. I'm going to tell you
As a
right
2-year-old.
Right now,
Yeah.
I can tell you exactly where my 33-year-old daughter is. Right this very second, to the square foot on the map of the world.
Yeah, I got my kids shipped, bro.
There's another thing about this too.
Sounds creepy, but I'm not playing. Like, I know where they're at all the times. I can literally hit a button and listen to their conversations. I don't, but I could.
That's funny.
To me, this whole thing feels targeted with how she was like talking about like the LGBT stuff and like really targeting the left. I feel like she thought that she was going to get a pass because it's a group of people that regularly let like murderers and all sorts of things get like a total pass for things if they're an ally. Like, this feels super targeted.
Even Antifa care for their kids. Okay. So it's even left-wing nutbags love their children and don't believe their children.
I think she miscalculated. So I agree.
I also feel like the left would support her more if she entered sex work as opposed to legal advocacy.
Absolutely.
Right.
You know, Tom, what's your take on this? Because, you know, Casey Anthony does claim that she was sexually abused by her father. And so people saying like, oh, she should go to OnlyFans because like she's kind of hot. Like that kind of, you know, denigrates like what her possible experience was. Now, keep in mind, the father has denied this, and she is a pathological liar. So it's hard to say like, you know, like where this, you know, falls on the spectrum here. But what's your take on it?
Well, you were just telling me a few minutes ago that she claimed she didn't call the 911 for 31 days because her dad kept telling her that her kid was all right. Well, what was her kid doing with her dad if her dad did that to her? Like, that's my first question. So I don't believe a fucking word this bitch says. She couldn't do anything more than run a carny or be a carny or work at Burger King. Go do that. Like the OnlyFans shit, honestly.
Carnival.
I mean, yes, there are some desperate assholes out there, but most guys, like somebody who has this kind of a connection with their children, not much of a turn on.
I'm pretty sure carny workers even have a code. So I don't know if she'd go there. So.
Yeah, a lot of them probably wouldn't even work with her, to be honest with you.
Yeah, this is one of those you change your name, move to another country,
and get a really good nose job.
Yeah, I'm surprised she doesn't live in like Spain or France or some shit like that. Exactly, or Italy or somewhere where nobody really knows or cares who the fuck she is.
Where somebody can go, wow, you really look like that Casey Anthony chick a little bit. It's like, well, I've gotten that my whole life, but no, it's just a really weird coincidence. So look, our noses are different. So yeah, it'd be funny.